What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Beer Battered Sports Podcast, the podcast created by sports fans for sports fans, because we believe that we are the most qualified to talk about our favorite teams. I'm your co-host, Isaac.
And Kylie.
And I'm 40.
And before we begin episode 42,
41.
it should be 42.
Thank you.
41.
Think
Oh,
we're on
yeah, it is 42.
42.
It's
Yeah.
42, the meaning
I
of life.
mistyped.
Whatever. It's okay. It's okay. Before we begin episode 42, everybody, we have a big announcement. We now have our first merch. That is right. If you go on to our Twitter account and click on the link to our link tree, you'll be directed to our site where we are giving out our official merch. You get shirts, both short sleeve and long sleeve, and hoodies with our logos on the front and back. They come. How many colors do they come in, Kylie?
3, black, white, and light gray. Heather gray?
Yes,
Would it be Heather gray? Probably Heather gray.
probably.
You get the point.
Mike says, "Yo, what's up, Mike? Glad to see you
Hey,
tuning
what
in."
up, Mike?
Well, so yeah, our first merch is officially live, and if you go to our Twitter account and click on the link to our link tree, you can go get you some good prices, good quality. There will be more, but this is just our first line. But finally, after nearly a year of doing this podcast, we got merch. So pretty good.
Dude, you can blame my freaking brother for that one. Dude took 50 years. It's okay. I love him. But it took a while for him to finally get the logo sent over to me.
Well, with that being said, let's jump right on in. We got an exciting episode today. We're going to be it's the midway point of the NFL season, so we're going to take a look at our preseason predictions, see what's going on there, make our game picks for week 10. We're going to be talking about
Thanks, Mike. You should
basketball and
get some.
hockey. Thank you, Mike. We appreciate that. We're going to talk about the NBA and the NHL, all the drama going on there. And of course, we're going to start by talking about the World Series, unfortunately. And
Can
for
we
all of our
not
Philly
talk about the
fans who
World
are listening in, you may want to skip ahead. Or if you're watching
Muted.
live, you may mute for a little bit. I am so
Yeah.
sorry what's about to
Yeah.
happen. We got to talk about the World Series. Kylie, as our resident Phillies fan, how you doing?
I just saw all of our viewers just drop.
Come
Yeah,
back!
that sucked. I had hope after Schwarber got a leadoff home run, and Yordan Alvarez is just too good. That dude smacked the hell out of that ball.
Who ended up winning MVP for the series?
Pena.
Jeremy Pena?
Yep, that dude's insane as well.
All right. I mean, he won MVP for the ALCS too, so.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't expect to win. I really didn't. It just sucks.
as a not a Philly fan, but as a baseball fan, I don't think anybody even expected the Phillies to be there. So
No.
yeah, I mean, yeah, they lost. Everybody was rooting for them, but at the end of the day, you got to really shout out the Phillies for getting hot at the right time and ending this season great on the right note. And I'm pretty sure they're getting a lot of this team back next year. So
Everybody's going to be back except for probably Eflin. Segura is not going to be back. We're going to get Trey Turner. There's no doubt in my mind about that one. We might even get Rodon. So, and we got a couple pitchers down in the minors who are very, very close to coming up. So I expect at least one of the three, at least, to be up here at some point in the season, probably earlier than expected. So we'll see. It all depends on what we do in free agency, but
yeah. So with that being said, you guys ended the season on a hot note. Yeah, you didn't win the World Series, but you get this team back next year with some key players you may be able to add in the offseason.
yeah.
You have to be excited for what is on the Phillies roster and what's to come.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day,
Dude.
the Astros. I really hate the Astros, but
Yeah.
they played very great baseball in that series, and maybe a couple games were questionable where we could have said, there may have been a little bit of cheating involved, but at the end all be all, like you said, Yordan Alvarez, he's different, and that guy, he showed up at the right time.
Absolutely. He did. And I got my frustrations out pretty early. The next morning, I played some MLB The Show, and I kicked their ass 39-0. I hit Alvarez like 4 times. I had like 4 or 5 pitcher ejections. Like I, I definitely took out my frustrations, and it actually does make you feel better.
If you're listening in, the reason why Kylie does that is because if she doesn't take out that rage, then a pizza box at work will be thrown into an incinerator, multiple pizza boxes, and a customer might get stabbed. I've seen it in person. It happens.
She also may be banned from Twitter as well if she doesn't get her frustration out that way.
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly.
I'll say
Twitter
this on the
is-
series. I'll say this. Just felt like after the no hitter, all the energy was sucked out of that series.
Yep.
After
Yes.
the Astros no hit, that's the moment the series died. I'll give the Phillies credit; they pushed it to 6 games, but man, just I feel bad for Philly. Yeah, Philly. That was a rough day for Philly. Not only did they lose to the Astros, but the Union. I don't know. I know we don't talk about Major League Soccer, but man, the Union first ever MLS Cup appearance. They're going up against another team making their first appearance, LAFC. Big series expectations. Someone's going to come away with their first title. And Philly took a 3-2 lead with seconds left. And then Gareth Bale
and a man
for
up.
Gareth Bale and for LAFC tied it up with just the last seconds of extra time. And
Yeah,
then they
that was
lost
a
on
shitty day.
penalties. So rough day for Philly sports.
They did have the Eagles win that day, though.
They did. They did.
We don't care. It's a regular. It wasn't even that day. It was a Texans game. They won on Thursday. They didn't
And it
even
wasn't-
care.
Yeah, and that game actually, like the Eagles struggled in that game too. So Eagles fans can't even look back at that and be like, "Ugh, at least we have
One-
the Eagles."
1,000% the Eagles struggled in that game.
Yeah,
It's very ugly.
we'll get to that in a second. Kylie, any last thoughts on this season as a whole? Any early expectations for next season?
Early expectations. You got to make the playoffs. I mean, that the NL East is absolutely loaded with the Braves, the Mets, and us. It's only a 3-headed horse. I mean, the Nationals and the Marlins aren't going to do anything really, at least not what it looks like for now. So, especially the Nationals. So, you got to at least make the playoffs. It's a tough division. So, I'm not just going to go and say win the division because both teams are just loaded. The other 2 teams are just loaded. So, I make the playoffs. Get to at least the NLDS. I mean, there's no reason you shouldn't be in the NLDS. After that, please go further, but expectation NLDS, nothing less. Anything less is a disappointment.
You heard it here first.
And I don't think anybody could disagree with me on that one. We didn't expect to make the World Series. We barely expected to make the playoffs the entire year. But you made the World Series. You got that experience. You lost the World Series. That hunger better still be there.
I like that.
I get
Yeah.
it. I'm down.
I mean,
Right.
Jeter said he didn't even play in the postseason his rookie year. And he said he hated that feeling. And look what happened to him. 5 rings.
Yeah.
So,
it 5?
well, what something like that. Yeah, it's 5. While we're
Yeah.
discussing this, I just realized I've made a horrible mistake in my math. I'm calculating the overall records for our NFL week by week predictions.
Mhm.
At some point, I missed some games because the numbers aren't adding up.
Before you get to the NFL stuff,
Yeah, go ahead. I'm trying to figure this out.
we
Oh,
are
boy.
yeah. Go ahead. While you figure that out, we do head into the free agency, and there's a couple of things, important dates that you guys should probably know. Tomorrow is when free agency begins, so that's going to be. It's probably not going to be crazy. It's not like the NBA and stuff where people are signing that second. There's going to be meetings and stuff, and it's more in depth usually. November 15th is the deadline for teams to add minor leaguers to the 40-man roster to protect them from the Rule 5 draft, which is, if you don't know, if you've been in the minor leagues for 5 years and you don't make the 40-man roster, it's a new draft and you're going to get to a different team potentially. November 18th is the non-tender deadline for qualifying offers, I believe. I forget what that is. November 20th is the deadline for free agents to accept or reject the qualifying offer. The December 5th to the 8th is the winter meetings in San Diego, which is usually the time where we expect big name free agents to be rumored in some places. December 7th is the Rule 5 draft. January 13th is the deadline for teams and arbitration eligible players to submit salary figures. January 30th is the arbitration hearings. And February 24th, 2023 is when we get baseball back for spring training. Long time to go, but counting down the days already.
I'm excited.
Yeah,
Very
me too.
excited.
Did you get your football numbers correct?
I'm gonna figure that out another time.
Okay.
I don't know. All I
Let's get
know
over
is
to the NFL anyway.
yeah. All right. Well, yeah. At some point in recording our week by week results, I made a mistake somewhere. So I somehow Kylie ended up with like 10 more. So I'm gonna go back and fix that between episodes. But in the meantime, I was thinking for today's episode, it's the halfway point of the NFL season. Let's look back at our predictions and see how we're doing so far. So I'm gonna pull up our
My MVP pick is
predictions.
looking beautiful.
Oh yeah. So let's
I'm
start
gonna
off
be
with
honest. My MVP pick is right behind yours.
oh yeah. Let's
You
start
should-
off with
Okay.
let's start off with Calvin, what your predictions are. So at the halfway point of the season, Calvin, here's what you said. Calvin, you had in the AFC, you had for your AFC playoff teams, starting with the AFC East. Calvin, you said Buffalo would win, Miami would clinch a wild card berth. So far, it's looking like that most likely will happen. Kylie, for the AFC East, you said it was Buffalo and Miami. I said it would be just Buffalo going to the playoffs, but we all predicted those two teams. So far, looks like we're pretty much correct. I don't think any of us expected the Jets to be as good as they've looked.
No, absolutely not.
Jets lost me a lot of money the other day. I'm not gonna even lie to you. The Bills. Josh Allen. He was the last game I needed to. It's crazy.
The Jets have officially gone from that team that everyone hides in the corner and screams because they don't know what it is to now it's like, oh, you're a good football team. Okay. That's fine. In the AFC North, I think everybody was correct. We all so Calvin and Kyle, you both picked Baltimore and Cincinnati. I picked Cincinnati to beat Baltimore. It looks like it's going to be a race between those two teams right now.
Pretty much expected.
I don't think there's a race anymore. Baltimore got hot at the right time. They don't play another game for another 14 days.
Yeah.
Yeah, they honestly should be 9-0, but we'll get into that later after you're done with this.
Yeah. In the AFC South, I predicted Tennessee would be the only playoff team. That's looking like it's going to be the case. But you guys said the Colts would win the South, and
Yeah, holy shit.
I don't know why I said the Colts, to be honest, but
that's
incredible.
okay.
I have no idea why I picked the Colts.
Oh dear Lord. Okay, so I mean, I guess this is now as good a time as any to announce that
oh yeah,
Eric from Colts Coverage is going to be on the episode next week
yeah,
to talk about Eagles, Colts, and the Colts themselves and football in general.
it's the perfect time too.
It's perfect because Frank Reich just got fired. They hired Jeff Saturday as their interim head coach. Like that team, they're on the hunt for CJ Stroud or Bryce Young because
This is the
damn.
Go ahead, Calvin, because my rant's going to be a little long. Go ahead, Calvin.
I hope they don't get Bryce Young. That's all I was going to say.
So I need to go on a little rant here.
Feel free.
I have some problems with the Colts, man. It's the most blatant example of tanking I've ever seen. They didn't even go for anybody with any football experience of coaching. They just were like, let's hire a former player. And that none of them have any experience calling plays. They probably don't have a playbook cooked up now. They basically straight up just said, fuck it, let's lose.
Yeah.
I got a problem with that. I made it clear over the time we've done this podcast that I'm not a fan of tanking. I understand why teams do it, but I don't like it. But the Colts have taken it to a new extreme. Why do you hire Jeff Saturday? I understand he's a franchise icon. He was the center for Peyton Manning for years. You know, he was a part of the Super Bowl running team. But the dude has no coaching experience. His only experience is basically to be on ESPN. And I don't take ESPN seriously anymore because, you know, their shows are just garbage at this point. That's another
Yeah.
tangent for another day. Why? At this point, if I'm a Colts fan, I'm selling my season tickets because it's clear the team doesn't care about the city. They don't care about, you know, trying to, you know, make money. All they care about is just, you know, tanking to get better. And it's shown tanking doesn't always work. The Sixers
No.
tried to pioneer tanking, and unfortunately, sorry, Kylie, it hasn't really worked out for them. They don't have any rings to show for it. The Dolphins tanked for Tua, and it still took him like 2 or 3 years to finally get started. And even then, it's like, well, unfortunately, the rest of the AFC East is so stacked that nobody knows what to do now. It's like you might not even make the playoffs. What the Colts are doing spits in the face of football as a whole. And it really just pisses me off. I cannot wait to have Colts coverage on here. I want to pick his brain about this because I'm sure he's just as
Dude.
pissed off as I am.
I've been talking to him for I've been in contact with him. This it's a shit show, dude. I can't even begin. No way, bro. Jeff Saturday is going to kill it. The Colts season turnaround starts now. We'll see. So
That's not happening.
Pass me
I
what-
have
Yeah, man.
I have more faith in Jeff Saturday than most. I just love Jeff Saturday.
He's a
don't
great
think
guy,
he's
but
gonna do anything.
he has no coaching experience.
Okay.
Brian Flores is right there. Just get Brian Flores. The dude is literally look what the dude did with the Dolphins. He's right there. You want an interim head coach that you can
Yeah.
transition to, like, you know, being a whatever. I don't care anymore. But
The Colts, no good. What was the next division?
AFC West. we all pretty much got the AFC West right, except for me. We all said that either the Chargers or the Chiefs was going to win it. Kylie and I said that Kansas City was going to win it, with the Chargers being the wild card team. Calvin, you said the Chargers win. At this point, the Chiefs look unstoppable. Well, sort of unstoppable. The Chargers look good too, but they've had their ups and downs. Nobody said that Vegas was going to win, so
Chargers got a lot of injuries. That's what's going on with that team.
Yeah.
Once they get their guys back, they should be right back there with the Chiefs.
the one person who said something about the AFC West that they regret is me. I said Denver would make the playoffs. I was very wrong.
No way.
Okay, NFC East. We all sort of got this one right. We all said either Philly or Dallas. Well, you guys said Philly. I said Dallas.
Because you're an asshole.
Calvin, you said Washington would be a wild card team.
Watch. We're still here.
Yeah,
We're not that
maybe.
far.
None of us predicted that the Giants would be as good as they've been, and even then, no one still trusts the Giants. I trust them. Seattle is better than expected.
There's still a chance for all 4 teams in our division to make the playoffs.
With how bad the NFC is, you could, and it would be so funny. Same
I
thing could
know
happen
you
to the
see this.
AFC. If everything goes right in the AFC, you could get all 4 teams for the AFC East in the playoffs.
I can't wait until we talk about that Redskins game or Commanders game, because we honestly should have won that game. And I told you guys about the Vikings. They're not as good as their record says.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of the Vikings, every single one of us said that the Vikings would win the NFC North. I said Detroit would make the playoffs, so I'll take the L on that one. Hey, they're getting better. But we all correctly predicted that Green Bay would not make the playoffs, and that does not look like it's going to happen.
Look at us, dude. Look at our hatred for Aaron Rodgers being correct.
No, I don't hate that guy. You know, I
Well, not
I
you,
love
but-
that guy, but I just didn't see him doing it this year.
So in the
Definitely
NFC
not.
South, Calvin and I correctly predicted that the Bucks would be the division leader, and yeah, I don't think any of us thought it would be this bad, but we all thought Tampa would be in the mix. But
It
Kylie,
feels like the 2019 NFC East. Shut up.
why'd you pick the Panthers to win the South? I'm looking back at this as like, there's no fucking way she picked the Panthers. And I thought back, it's like, oh yeah, she did. You said the Panthers. They're the worst team in football.
So I expected Baker to be a lot better than he was.
I
First
told
of
you
all-
about that guy 13 episodes ago.
You did. And so not only that, But you know how I have those like random ass, just like stupid takes that I do because maybe they're gonna be right of it. Like, nah, this one was awful. They're never right. I don't know why I keep doing it. They're just never right. But none of us expected the Panthers to be this bad. You gotta admit.
I kind of,
I
I
kind of
mean,
knew the Panthers
actually, no.
were bad. You're talking about a guy who had Odell Beckham and Jarvis Landry on the same team and didn't do shit with them. Like, come on, man. No way.
Calvin's actually right. He's the only one who said the Panthers wouldn't finish first or second. I had them finishing runner-up. Moving on, the West. We all got the West wrong. The only person who came close to predicting the West so far was me when I said San Francisco would be a wild card team. We all had Seattle finishing last. We all had the Rams winning the West. Wow. We did not see that one coming.
No.
The Rams lost the other day. Ooh.
Yeah. San Francisco's back in the well, no, Seattle is.
Seattle's yeah.
Looking at our
Let Geno
individual
cook.
awards, Calvin, your predictions. You had Lamar for MVP, Stephon Diggs for Offensive Player of the Year, Bobby Wagner for Defensive Player of the Year, Ron Rivera for Coach of the Year, George Pickens for Offensive Rookie of the Year, and Drake Jackson for Defensive Rookie of the Year. I'm going to give you a chance. You can change one of those. Only one.
Then I'll change my Rookie of the Year for defense. I like Sauce Gardner.
Sauce Gardner. Gotcha.
Ooh, I like that.
I'll say this. Your MVP pick looks good.
Yeah. He's right behind Jalen Hurts. If he was 9-0, he'd be the front runner. But because of those 3 losses that he has, that's why Jalen Hurts has the upper edge against Lamar right now.
Yeah.
Kylie, your picks individual. MVP, you said Jalen Hurts. Offensive Player of the Year, you said Josh Allen. Looks like it.
Wait. Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you. But our 2 Offensive Player of the Year takes, they look very good right now. It's either going to come down to Josh Allen doing something spectacular or Diggs is having the most receiving yards in the league.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So, Kylie, you said Jalen Hurts for MVP. Looks like it. Josh Allen for Offensive Player of the Year. Looks like it. Aaron Donald for Defensive Player of the Year. Well, he's still playing awesome. And you had George Pickens as Offensive Rookie of the Year, Nakobe Dean as Defensive Rookie of the Year, and Dan Campbell as Coach of the Year. You can change one. Who you changing?
Who was my Coach of the Year?
You had Ron Rivera.
Ron Rivera.
Which I don't know. If the commies keep turning it around,
He
maybe.
still has a chance. I was going to say he still has a chance.
Change one. I like Sauce Gardner. I like that Sauce Gardner one. I don't want to say Coach of the Year for Sirianni because he's not going to get it. It's not going to be Dan Campbell either, but
it's going to be that guy over there in New York.
Yeah. I'm gonna change my Coach of the Year to Brian Dable.
All right. Finally, for me, I had Cooper Kupp as MVP. Josh Allen as Offensive Player of the Year. TJ Watt as Defensive Player. Kill me. Dan Campbell, kill me as Coach of the Year. Chris Olave, kill me as Offensive Rookie of the Year. And Trey Hutchinson as Defensive Player of the Year. Kenneth Walker's a rookie, right?
I think so.
I'm going to change it to Kenneth Walker as Offensive Rookie of the Year. That dude is carried me to an 8-1 start.
Who was
in
my
fantasy.
Offensive Rookie of the Year?
You had
George
Pickens.
If he had a better quarterback, he'd be the Offensive Rookie of the Year.
Kenneth Walker
he's good.
Kenneth Walker's been tearing it up. He's been
carrying my fantasy Kenneth Walker's a rookie.
Speaking of which, I have something to speak on in terms of fantasy. This is for Josh Lash, former college buddy of mine. Go have sex with yourself, you asshole. My undefeated streak, he ruined it. I would have been 9-0. And Josh, go sex yourself, Josh Lash.
You know who
my best fantasy start ever. Ruined. I'm kidding, Josh. I love you, but
So
wait, sorry. You know who we forgot?
Who?
You were right. Kenneth Walker is a rookie, but Dameon Pierce, the guy on the Texans.
Yeah.
If he weren't on the Texans,
he's actually number 2 in running right now. So you're right with the Kenneth Walker. Kenneth Walker is the best odds right now, and then Dameon Pierce is second. Chris Olave is third. Garrett Wilson's fourth. George Pickens is fifth. So Pickens still has a
Fair
chance, Kylie. We're
enough.
still in there.
Fair enough.
That picture, that video of him when he got drafted, it's just we
Yeah.
all knew that dude was gonna be. We were like, this dude's gonna be a menace.
Wait,
Well-
I do have the odds for everything up here if you guys want to hear them. The offensive player
Go
of the
ahead.
year, Kylie, you look good right now. First place, Josh Allen.
Josh Allen.
Second place, Jalen Hurts. Third place, my guy, Stephon Diggs. Fourth is Justin Jefferson, and then fifth is Lamar. Defensive player of the year right now. First is Micah Parsons. Second, Nick Bosa. Third, Myles Garrett. Fourth, Matthew Judon. And fifth, Aaron Donald. Comeback player of the year. Geno Smith, number 1.
I love that.
On 2, Christian McCaffrey 3, Derrick Henry 4th, and Nick Gates 5th, whoever Nick Gates is. Wait, who did you say was going to be off coach of the year before? You said you didn't want to pick who?
I didn't want to pick Sirianni because
Nick
is he
Sirianni,
leading?
number 1.
Son of a bitch! I knew it.
Brian
Wow.
Daboll, number 2. Kevin O'Connell, number 3. Pete Carroll, number 4. And Robert Saleh, number 5.
Damn it.
And then let's see.
Nice,
Yeah.
Kylie. It's been set in stone. It's Brian Dable now. You gotta hope that the Giants pull it off.
Damn it. No.
MVP. Wow. Okay. I don't know what this guy did on Sunday to do this, but Pat Mahomes is number 1 right now.
Oh, well, yeah, it makes sense. He went off. He single-handedly pulled the Chiefs to a win. That was great.
Excuse me?
We have Pat Mahomes at 1, Jalen
Mahomes
Hurts
is
at
him.
2, Lamar Jackson at 3, Josh Allen at 4, and Tua Tagovailoa at 5.
No love for
Bullshit.
players that aren't quarterbacks. That upsets me, but makes sense.
Yeah, the next wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's the 10th guy that shows up on this list that's a non-quarterback, and that's Tyreek Hill.
God damn it. Whatever.
Well, with that being
Whatever.
said, let's do a quick recap of this last week in the NFL. There,
One
I'm
more
just gonna-
thing though.
Oh, one more thing. Go ahead.
It was like right before we went live.
Right.
DC Attorney General to hold press conference on Thursday at noon, so tomorrow at noon, to make major announcement regarding the Washington Commanders. Comes 1 week after a team hired Bank of America to explore sale options.
I wonder what it's going to be.
Hopefully, it means
Yeah, I
somebody.
wonder.
Hopefully, it means somebody's buying the team, and hopefully, it means they're building a new site at RFK.
I would love it.
It's
That's
not
what I
going to be
want to see.
RFK, but that'd be nice.
Bring the fans back, man.
If they
So-
rebuilt RFK, a packed stadium.
It would be.
Packed.
It would be. So let's quickly look at the games from last week. I'm just going to go rapid fire through them. You guys give me some quick thoughts. We start off Thursday night. Eagles are still undefeated. They beat the Texans. Kylie, how you
Birds.
feeling? Go
Go
Birds.
Birds.
Go Birds. Gotcha. Next up, Falcons lose a heartbreaker. They lose the division lead to the Chargers. That was a rough one, Falcons. That was
Yeah,
rough.
it's crazy because they actually had the game in their hands. The guy fumbled the. So the Chargers. It's funny. I was in the casino watching this game.
When are you not at the casino?
I had money on the
When we're
Chargers.
doing the podcast.
So yeah, so the Chargers, they're driving. Austin Eckler actually fumbles. The guy, the defensive lineman on the Falcons picks the fumble up. He's running it back, and as he's running it back, he fumbles, and the Chargers pick the ball back up with like 30 seconds left in the game. Justin Herbert throws a pass like 20 yards downfield. They get in the field goal range, and they win the game. It was insane.
Lol, Falcons.
Yeah, seriously.
Justin Fields had his best game as a starter. It wasn't enough, though, as Tua and the Dolphins win that one. Oof. Joe Mixon goes off, scoring how many? 5 total touchdowns?
5 total touchdowns.
Oh, yeah. Joe Mixon, 5 total touchdowns as the Bengals drive the nail further into the coffin. That is the Panthers season. The Packers are trash.
Oh,
Packers
yeah.
Yes, they
are
are, and I
horrible.
love it.
Oh,
I think
Makes
it's
me
time to
super
give.
happy.
I think it's time to give Jordan Love a shot.
what did I say during episode 40? I said it's time I said it's Jordan Love time. I was right.
See what the young guys can do. You definitely were right, because they got young receivers now. Just throwing the young quarterback, because Rodgers, that guy, he can't even score over 9 points nowadays. It's incredible.
Nah.
The Jags came back from a 17-0 deficit to beat the Raiders. At this point, I think it's time to throw in the towel on the Raiders season. Josh McDaniels is just not a good coach. They are just
What the hell is going on with McDaniels?
Devontae Adams misses Aaron Rodgers, and Aaron Rodgers misses Devontae Adams.
That sums it up perfectly. The Colts got blown out, and Frank Reich lost his job. The Jets upset the Bills, and now everyone's wondering, which New York team is actually real? And I think the Jets just made a good case.
Sad to say. Yeah. They're hot.
Okay, this one. Vikings get a comeback win against the Commies. Calvin, I know you want to talk about this one.
Game was right in our hands. Taylor Heineke said it himself. He has Dax Milne wide open on a zig route. He throws the interception to Harrison Smith across the middle, brings the Vikings back into the game. And then, there's a minute 47 left. We have all 3 timeouts. 4th down, they're kicking a field goal. We get a stupid penalty, give them a 1st down, and they run the clock out and they win the game. But, like I said last episode, we really should have won that game.
Yeah.
And I really should be celebrating the win right now. But that game showed you what I was talking about the Vikings. They're not as good as their record says, because the only real team they played obliterated them. And
yeah,
Go Birds. That was a beautiful game.
They hadn't played a real defense with a great front 7 other than the Eagles front 7. And you saw what our front 7 was doing when we were getting to Kirk and all that. And then on top of that, we had an interception return for a touchdown that got called back. And that's just absolute BS call. Those guys, they were having a great matchup all game. And yeah, man, it is what it is. But the Vikings, they're trash, man. They're not what their record says.
We're about to find out, though, because the Vikings' next 4 games, they're at Buffalo, at home versus Dallas, home against the Patriots, home against the Jets. They play 4 teams with playoff aspirations in the next 4 weeks.
Loss, win, loss.
Fair enough. I'll take that. Looking at the late games, Seattle continues their dominance. It's Geno Smith's season. He just wrecked the Cardinals. Yikes. By the way, I saw this was interesting. The Cardinals went all in the offseason. The Seahawks, meanwhile, traded away their franchise quarterback. Which team swept the other? The Seahawks.
Right, exactly.
Tampa Bay has returned. The Bucs beat the Rams in an ugly game. Our offense is still shit, but Tampa Bay is back in a last-second touchdown drive. We're still going to get our asses handed to us in Germany, but I don't care. We're leading the NFC South, boys. We've done it.
I don't really have too much to say about Tom.
Yeah,
I don't either. I actually am really pissed off at him.
Him and Rodgers are both pissing me off this year.
Yeah.
So the last 2 games are primetime games. Mahomes is still him. He single-handedly pulled the Chiefs to an overtime win over the Titans. Malik Willis got exposed in that game, by the way. That was rough. And our last game, the Ravens tore up the Saints on Monday Night Football, and like you said earlier, Calvin, they're getting hot at the right time. They got a bye week this week.
Great.
Oh yeah. So with that being said, let's jump over to our Week 10 game picks, and I got something special for one of these games. We're going to start things off Thursday night NFC South rivalry game, Panthers-Falcons. Falcons got to win to stay alive in the hunt for the NFC South. Panthers just trying to figure out what they're doing. I'm going to take the Falcons to win this. Who you guys got?
Falcons.
All right. Bear with me on this next one.
You said you got a funny one this week. I got a funny one for you guys this week too.
Here it is. Ready? Next up ist das erste NFL-Spiel, das in Deutschland gespielt wird. Die Freibüter kämpfen gegen die Seefalken. Wen warst du?
Bucks. I just know that was German. I know the Bucks are playing in Germany.
Who do you guys play?
It's Tampa versus Seattle, a very crucial game for the NFC playoff seeding. And it's the first game in Germany, so I if my mom was watching, she would kill me for saying for my pronunciation because she actually could speak German. So, sorry, mom.
Yeah, you sounded very non-German.
I'm a red-blooded American. I can't help it. I'm taking Tampa Bay to win this one, but it's gonna be very. Actually, you know what? Nah, Seattle. You guys said Tampa Bay, right?
Who
I'm saying Tampa.
do you have? Mike Evans and Chris Godwin.
Yeah, I
I
think
like
so.
Tampa. Give me Tampa.
Before I continue, I quickly just got to retract because I realized I didn't say who won in week 9. Week 9 was the best week overall. Calvin, you were 9-4. I was 10-3. Kylie J. Sullenberger, you went 12-1 last week in your predictions. The only game you got wrong was the
Okay.
Washington Vikings game.
You should have put in a parlay. That's incredible.
Straight up.
That's amazing.
Damn, I didn't even know that.
Yeah. I'm
What?
gonna.
So you said I got that one wrong. What?
You got Washington.
Damn.
The only one you got wrong is you picked the Commanders to beat the Vikings.
That's a shame.
And that you should have won that one too.
I know. Like,
Should have swept last week.
Yeah, you could have.
damn.
All right, looking at
Whatever.
our Sunday games. First up, crucial big game, possible playoff preview or something. Vikings, Bills, two of the best teams in the league. Well, one of the best teams in the league and a fraud. I'm gonna take Buffalo to win this one. Who you guys got?
I like
Buffalo.
Buffalo to bounce back, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh boy, Lions and Bears, basement
my.
battle, and well, not a basement battle anymore. NFC North, black and blue rivalry. I'm gonna take
Bears.
Chicago to win.
Bears.
I was gonna take Chicago to win too. I like what Justin Fields did on the ground last week. Almost 200
Wonder
yards.
what Tim Sinclair says.
Broncos and Titans. I think we can all actually. This is going to be a tough one because if I don't know if Ryan Tannehill is back yet, but I'm actually going to say Denver wins this because Tennessee. Wait, what am I crazy? They got Derrick Henry. Tennessee.
I hate games like this.
Me
Both teams
too.
suck.
Yeah.
I'm going with Tennessee.
I'm gonna go Denver actually.
Watch Kylie go undefeated this week. That's why.
That'd be nice.
Jags and Chiefs. I think this is an easy, clean sweep for Kansas City.
Chiefs.
Chiefs.
Chiefs, easy. Browns and Dolphins. I think we might see the first start of Deshaun Watson this week. Is it time?
That's against the Texans.
Oh, it's against Texans. Okay. Browns Dolphins. So
Hell of a
it's
game
supposed to be.
to come back.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's.
I'm
you
gonna
know
take
it's
Miami to
scripted.
win this. I'll take Miami to win this one.
Yeah, Miami.
Yeah, I like Miami. Tua's hot, man.
Yeah.
Texans and Giants. Giants coming off the bye, going up a Texans team that is the worst record in the league. Giants.
Giants. My brother-in-law is looking forward to it probably.
Giants.
Saints versus Steelers. Yeah, I'm gonna
Saints
do
versus Steelers.
Yeah, I'm gonna pick Pittsburgh to win this one just because I can't root for the Saints.
I'm taking Saints, but I really want them to lose.
Jesus, I'll forfeit. Just give me the loss.
So I'll give you the Saints then, because no one knows that if you pick the Saints, you're a loser.
All right, let's go Saints then.
Colts and Raiders. We got ourselves a tank bowl.
The Raiders. There's
Vegas.
no way. If the Raiders lose, I'll never watch football again.
Watch the Raiders lose.
I'm going Colts. Raiders are going to lose.
Oh no, Kylie. All right, we got a classic old-fashioned NFL rivalry: Cowboys and Packers. Dallas is gonna wreck this. This is gonna be a Dallas game.
I think this is the Vegas game. Give me the Packers.
Yep,
Okay.
I was going to say the same thing.
Aaron Rodgers does have a tendency to make Dallas's bitch. Cardinals and Rams, NFC West rivalry game. I'm taking the Rams to bounce back because Arizona just does not have any.
8 games like this.
I know. We say that like 5 times a week. I'm going Rams.
Kylie, you got the Rams. Calvin, who you got?
He doesn't even know.
I got the Rams.
Right. Chargers 49ers Sunday Night Football. This is going to be a good one. I'm going to take San Francisco to win this.
I'm
Me
going.
too.
Yeah.
Finally. Oh, yes.
Yep.
Monday night.
Yep.
It's Kylie versus Calvin versus 2. Commies
Yep.
in Philadelphia. Carson Wentz's return, and he won't be starting because he's injured.
Philly is gonna walk on them.
Oh yeah.
Walk.
All right. Give me the commies, and this is why I say give me the commies. We're the last team to be the undefeated team on Monday Night Football.
It's true.
That's right.
But it's not gonna happen twice.
All right.
Lightning doesn't strike twice.
We've already lost to you guys once. We know
just
what's coming this time. We're ready.
Do you?
We're prepared. We are prepared.
You?
We're running with the best teams in the NFL now. We should have beat the quote unquote second best team in the NFL last week.
Yeah, we'll see.
I think Lightning is going to strike twice. Give me the commies to
hate
win in
you.
an upset. Washington takes down Philadelphia, and the 72 Dolphins get to have their
I'm
champagne.
telling you, this is the
I
week.
might be going to that game.
This is
Ooh.
the week. Vegas is written all over it.
So that's a good slate of games. This is going to be a fun week. We're heading into the second half of the season.
Yep.
Games are heating up. Every game has playoff implications, and with so many teams being terrible in the NFC, every NFC game is a playoff game essentially. So
Mhm.
that's going to be fun. All right, let's move on. Do we want to do NHL first or NBA? Because I think I can.
Yeah, let's kick it off to your hockey corner.
Okay, so NHL. So week 3 of the NHL is here, and I actually have not checked the standings in a while because I've been wrapped up with work. But let me check that now.
Yeah, go ahead and check the standings real quick. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I'm doing that. I'm doing
Yeah.
that.
Just
My. Oh
yeah.
my. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
Look at that.
Wow. What is going on?
Yeah. Devils win 7 straight. Let's go.
I guess I'm going to have to start in the Metropolitan. Yeah, the Devils are currently 2 points ahead of the Islanders for first place in the Metropolitan. Where did the Islanders come from? My God.
Speaking of Devils, before you continue, Jesper Bratt is the best player in the NHL. Number 1. And number 2, be sure to check out our Twitter space on Friday. We're going to be talking to Brat Pack, the known Devils Twitter troll, who is funny as shit. And I'm very excited to talk to him about all things Devils hockey and trolling.
Unfortunately,
that's what I do
because I happen to call community college basketball games for a living, I won't be able to attend as I'll be calling a game. We got a big doubleheader this weekend, but I will be sending in my question, so I'll be there in spirit.
Speaking of the Devils again, before we move on, the Devils really should have won 5-1 last night. I watched that game from start to finish. I watched 3 goals get taken back, or 6-1. It should have been because I watched 3 goals get taken back. It was incredible. It was 1-0 for the longest time when it should have been like 4-1. The Devils are hot though. They're very hot.
They are. They're currently the 3rd best record in the league.
I watched it with my own 2 eyes last night. Those guys can beat anybody in the NHL right now.
Well, they've pulled out a 2-point lead over the Islanders for second. Shout out to the Islanders for getting it together. Carolina's holding on to 3rd place with 17 points. They're still holding on. But then the battle for the wild card spot right now is it's being held by Philly. The Rangers are on the outside looking in. New York has not been able to find stability this year. Washington is showing their age. Pittsburgh is showing their age. And good God, introducing the worst team in the Atlantic, the Columbus Blue Jackets, continue to show that, man, Johnny Hockey was not the answer their franchise needed. They've gotten worse. Meanwhile, up in the Atlantic, Boston continues to go on a tear. They are 11-2-0, best team in the East. They are just monstrously good right now. Second place, it's a tie between Detroit and Toronto, 2 young teams looking to make it an impression. Tampa's holding on to the wild card spot, but they're tied with Florida, and it doesn't help when we lose to a handicapped Oilers team last night because Evander Kane had a massive slash on his hand. Hope he gets better. Well, actually, wait, it's Evander Kane.
No,
you know what? I don't
hope he gets better.
People. I don't want to. I hope he gets better, but I also hope he retires by choice, so I don't have to see his face anymore. As for the rest of the East, Buffalo, it's kind of fallen off a bit. Montreal, they're rebuilding. We expect them to be meh. And Ottawa has been underwhelming. So, fun stuff. Out in the West, the best team in hockey, that's where you'll find them. It's the Vegas Golden Knights, 12-2 and 0 record to start the season, 24 points. They lead everybody else. Seattle, holding strong, second in the Pacific. Go Kraken. They're looking good. Kings are looking solid too. Edmonton holds on to the wild card spot in the Pacific. And then it's a pretty big gap back to Calgary, who is rebuilding as expected. Vancouver, who has managed to get out of their atrocious start to actually show some skill. Anaheim, who is bad, and San Jose, who is worse. Finally, in the Central, Winnipeg and Dallas are tied for first. Dallas had the Central at first for the first couple of weeks, but Winnipeg's gone on a run. They've won 3 straight. They're tied now with the Stars for first place in the Central. Colorado is 4 points behind those two, so it's a 2-horse race right now. Then Chicago is holding on to the wild card spot, but that should change. The Blackhawks don't really have anybody. Arizona, Minnesota, and Nashville are all tied with 11 points next. They're all just meh.
Yeah.
And then there is the worst team in hockey, the St. Louis Blues. They've lost 8 straight games. The Blues started the season 3-0. They've now lost 8 straight, have just 6 points, and are dead last in the NHL. So fun. I shout out to the Devils, man. They've been the most impressive team so far through the first 3 weeks. Yeah, so that's going to wrap up the hockey corner.
Yes, sir.
Let's move on to basketball and wrap things up. Basketball, where we find our goober of the week.
The Sixers season has just started, by the way. With the Phillies ending the World Series, the Sixers season has just started. So, yeah, we're 1-0. So good for us.
I thought you guys, that's not how
No, we're 1-0.
that ain't how that works.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Just ask Joel Embiid. He said the same thing. I don't make the rules. I just really embrace this one.
Man, I got so the big draw with the NBA so far this year has been the whole Kyrie Irving drama, but I think we've said everything we could say about it.
There's more to the Nets drama. I don't know if you saw this.
Probably not.
Ime Udoka is not the head coach of the Brooklyn Nets.
He isn't.
No.
What happened?
They hired the hell is his name? I don't want to say it's Vince Vaughn because obviously it's not Vince Vaughn.
Jules Vaughn.
I forget his name. Yeah.
Jules Vaughn. Yeah. I saw that. I saw that. Didn't think twice about it. Now I'm thinking of it. It's like, wait, they announced Udoka. What happened?
Jacques? J-A-C. That's gotta be Jacques.
It's Jacques Vaughn, probably.
Yeah. After a series of factors that were the result of the due diligence process. So
Due diligence.
The Ime Udoka situation has to be a lot worse than is being portrayed.
There's something we're gonna find out that he did that is unforgivable. I don't want to speculate just because I don't want to say anything gross, but
or pour on someone's character when it's not necessary.
I had a lesson in poor taste this weekend. After, that we'll leave that for another day. But let's this whole situation is pretty wild. Looking around the NBA, we got a lot of big blowouts we had this past week.
I love it so much.
So we got the Raptors killing the Spurs 143-100. The Cavs murdering the Pistons 112-88. The Nets beating the Wizards 128-86. And then the Grizzlies blowing out the Hornets 130-99. Yikes.
Yeah. Lots of blowouts this week. And my favorite is when 2 really crappy teams play each other, because then, we see this with football. When 2 crappy teams play each other in baseball, you sometimes get really high scoring games.
Yes.
And that was the case with the Rockets and the Magic game. The Rockets beat the Magic 134-127. I love when that happens. Because my team isn't crappy, so I don't have to watch 2 crappy teams. But high scoring games when it's not your team, fun to watch.
I think that's the best way to describe it. Was that in regulation, by the way?
Yes.
That's ridiculous. That's absolutely ridiculous.
But how do you...
The stars of the NBA's past are turning over in their sleeps.
Yeah, you score 127, but you still lose. And another crappy team The Timberwolves.
You put in our notes who expected the Timberwolves to be good. I did. I thought they'd take a
Why?
step forward. I thought with their young talent and their playoff appearance, they're finally clicking.
I
I
thought-
was
You
wrong.
got Cat Gobert and Anthony Edwards blocking the paint, bro.
I was wrong.
I thought they would be a little bit better than their record show too.
All right. Well, to flip it around, what's going on with Golden State? What's wrong with them?
What's wrong with refs as well? This game was
Nobody
This-
talk about Golden State because they're the defending champs.
Yeah, but look at this. Like Klay Thompson clearly fouls. I forget his name. Blanking on his name this right now. But
Does he play for the
Uter.
Magic?
yeah. So
Yeah, he doesn't have a name. He plays for the Magic.
yeah. So watch this. Klay Thompson very clearly fouls him. Would have it was a 3-point attempt. It would have sent him to the foul line to tie the game up and go into overtime.
Hit the three to beat Orlando. Looking, Herter to tie the game. It's an air ball. The Warriors win. The Warriors win it 116-113. They snap the losing streak. Curry 17 in the fourth saves the day. They'll see the same Kings team on Sunday, and that was a huge fourth quarter that these world champions definitely needed. They shoot 50%, hold Sacramento.
So he very clearly fouls.
Yeah, I don't know what's up there, but
They ruled it was a missed call too.
did they at least? Yeah, they at least admitted we made a mistake. I guess.
Yeah.
I'm not letting them off the hook, but I'll give them
No.
a. Okay.
The
Yeah.
Warriors suck. That's what
yeah, they do.
What's up with the
Everybody wants-
Lakers?
yeah, I was just about to say everybody wants to keep talking about my Lakers, but the Warriors suck too.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of teams that are very much underperforming.
If you want to
But-
get into the Lakers though, we suck right now because LeBron sucks right now. I'll just be honest with you. Like everybody Russell Westbrook this, Russell Westbrook that. LeBron sucks right now. I don't think
Yeah.
LeBron actually, I think maybe the first night, that was it. LeBron has had one 30-point game this year. I think LeBron has had one game over 25 points this year. LeBron has not been LeBron at all. He looks tired on the court. He looks like he doesn't want to play basketball. I seen the man go like 3 for 10 from the 3-point line the other night. I couldn't believe it. Like, he's garbage. And that's
yeah, he's not having a good season.
that's coming from the biggest Braun fan, you know.
Yeah. Here's the standings though. So for the East, it's Milwaukee. They're 9-1. They have their first loss on Monday. Like they're having a good start. So then Cleveland at 2, then Boston, Atlanta, Toronto, Chicago, Indiana, New York, Washington, Philadelphia, Brooklyn, Miami, Charlotte, Detroit, Orlando. So 7 and 8 play each other. Indiana plays New York. This is for playoff picture. Indiana plays New York. The winner of that game plays Cleveland. The loser of that game plays the winner of Washington and Philadelphia. And then the winner of that matchup plays Milwaukee. And then it's Boston and Chicago, then Atlanta and Toronto. So that's a playoff picture for the East. For the West, here we go. It's Utah up top, which kind of surprising. Then Phoenix, Portland, Denver, Dallas, Memphis, Clippers, Pelicans, the Spurs, Timberwolves, Thunder, Warriors, Kings, Lakers, Rockets. Yes, I changed up the names midway through talking about them. So for play-in, it's the Clippers and then the Pelicans. The winner of that game plays Phoenix. The loser of that game plays the winner of San Antonio and Minnesota. The winner of that game would play Utah in a playoff series. And then it's Portland and Memphis and Denver and Dallas. That's confusing, but right now we're not worried about that because it's just the beginning of the season. But that's just what it would be if the playoffs ended a couple weeks into the season. For our stat leaders, we have for points, it's Luka with 36. Curry has 32.6, so it's a pretty good difference between the two. For assists, it's James Harden with 10 points, 10 assists per game. Tyrese Halliburton has 9.7, so it's relatively close. For three-pointers, it's Steph Curry with 5.3 per game. Buddy Hield has 4.2 per game right now. So it's always going to be Steph. For rebounds, no real surprise here. Rudy Gobert is leading the league with 13.9 rebounds per game. Nikola Vucevic has 12.3. So it's pretty big difference. For blocks, you have Brook Lopez with 2.5 blocks per game. And Ivica Zubac with 2.5 as well. So it's a two-way tie. For steals, OG Anunoby leads with 3.1 steals per game. DeJounte Murray has 2.5. So it's OG Anunoby right now.
All right.
So there you go.
So before we wrap things up, Goober of the Week, Kyle, you put Ben Simmons. What did Ben do?
Got his ankles broken.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he's been
Not as bad as the guy from the Wizards.
Oh, we should have played
That's
that clip.
true.
That was on.
Yeah.
That was so bad that it got put on Come On Man by Monday Night Football. They never touched that. They had to talk about that.
That's amazing. I love that.
I love that too. Well, that's going to pretty much wrap up the show, everybody. Thank you once again for tuning into the Beer Battered Sports Podcast. Hey, we got under an hour this time. Let's go.
Yeah, we did.
We got it under an hour.
Yes, be sure to check out the link in our Twitter bio because merch, we want you looking good. So go do that. Tune in to our Twitter space this Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time so we can talk about all things hockey, Devils, trolling, all that good stuff. And yeah, see you guys next week and Friday.
We'll see you guys Friday and next week. Remember, Colts coverage is coming on next week. It'll be great to have him back. It'll be his, I believe, third time on the show. So, yeah.
Technically third, yeah, because the second time was
The second time
when
was
Wentz got traded.
yeah, that's still the greatest moment in show history.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Buy our merch.
Yes, buy our merch. Want you looking good?
Yes.
Go
We'll see you
to
guys
it.
next time.
Yes. Bye, guys.
Peace.